in How the Hell Did the Refs Miss This, we have to look at Aliyah Boston getting absolutely cheap shot at by Tina Charles. And look, I know after the game, Tina Charles, you know, her and Aliyah Boston were talking and she was giving Aliyah Boston advice. I'm not out here saying that Tina Charles is the worst person in the world or Tina Charles the devil. What I'm saying is she should have been ejected. At the end of the day, basketball...
So there's Aliyah Boston, standing tall, holding the paint down like a fortress. When out of nowhere, bam! Not a bump, not a brush, but a straight-up slap to the face. We're talking full-hand contact, folks. The kind of slap you expect at a family reunion when someone brings up politics. And the refs? Nothing. Not a peep, not a whistle, not even a raised eyebrow. Just business as usual, apparently. Because now in the WNBA, it seems, getting assaulted is just part of the playbook.
I just want to say the refereeing in the WNBA has to be fixed. This is something that has been a problem. No review about it. Sophie Cunningham caught an elbow to the head. No review about it. It's like once you put that Indiana Fever jersey on, there's a target on your back.
The ref was probably tying his shoe, daydreaming about nachos, or wondering why his fantasy team sucks. Anything but doing his job. Because Aliyah Boston didn't just get touched, she got clapped. And they didn't even review it. No foul, no common, no flagrant, no tech, just vibes. She literally got hit with a Mortal Kombat finisher and the refs treated it like someone sneezed on defense.
But we gotta talk about this. We have got to talk about this right here, because how the hell the referee saw this play right here.
Meanwhile, on the same court, Caitlyn Clark was catching elbows, scratches, maybe a few stray knees, and apparently a whole lot of bad energy. And yet, the only person who had to be restrained, Caitlyn Clark, because she dared to respond, she had to be physically held back after the refs themselves said something that clearly struck a nerve. Can we pause for a second? Caitlyn got injured, fouled half to death, and verbally goaded by the officials, and suddenly she's the problem?
So today in How the Hell Did the Refs Miss This, we have to look at Aliyah Boston getting absolutely cheap shot at by Tina Charles. And look, I know after the game, Tina Charles, you know, her and Aliyah Boston were talking and she was giving Aliyah Boston advice. I'm not out here saying that Tina Charles is the worst person in the world or Tina Charles the devil. What I'm saying is she should have been ejected. At the end of the day, basketball is a sport and you can do things to get you ejected. It doesn't mean you're the devil. It doesn't mean you're some evil person.
It's like the refs were trying out for their own reality show. Drama, chaos, selective hearing and all. Real Housewives of the Hardwood featuring guest star Complete Incompetence. Let's just stack the absurdities real quick. Aliyah gets hit in the face with all the grace of a WWE SmackDown. Refs say, not worth it. Didn't see it. The ball kept bouncing, so I guess it's fine. Maybe she just walked into someone's hand? Maybe it was a wind gust? Then Caitlyn Clark gets bumped around like she's running drills with linebackers, and when she finally shows some fight, now the refs want to get involved. Now it's, whoa, calm down, Caitlyn. As if she caused the chaos, as if she initiated the Slap Olympics. And what's even wilder, not one replay. Not one, let's take a second look. Because apparently we're skipping that step now. You know, the thing every other sport uses when someone gets smacked in the orbital socket? Yeah, we're just breezing past that. Refs looked at Aliyah Boston like she just had a mild facial tic. Never mind the fact that her eye was blinking in Morse code asking for help. If this had happened to anyone else, anyone on a different night, there'd be drama, there'd be reviews, Twitter would explode. But nope, not for Aliyah. Because apparently when you're Aliyah Boston, you're expected to take a slap, keep it classy, and get back on defense like it's just part of warm-ups.
What did you think about when your reactions all kind of went viral yesterday? You did one thing after the next. What was everything like for you afterwards?
I mean, it was pretty funny to see my reactions because I really had no idea. But I mean, it's okay. It's something that I was like, okay, well, I'll be seeing this for a while. People were like screenshotting me and putting out. I was like, it's okay. It's fun though.
The referees must have had their emotional support blindfolds on. How else do you explain missing a face slap that echoed through the arena like a firework in a cave? You'd think a 7-foot-tall player getting her head whipped around would be at least mildly concerning, but nope, not even a side glance. Oh, and Caitlyn's situation? Let's just dissect that madness. She's out there getting battered from every angle, hip checks, shoulder bumps, maybe even the occasional accidental karate chop, and she still plays through it. But when the ref, the guy with the whistle, says something so wild that Clark has to be restrained, it's her who gets painted as the instigator. Are we being punked? Caitlyn didn't even go off on a player. She wasn't brawling with an opponent. She wasn't charging the bench. She was reacting to the very people who are supposed to be enforcing fair play. Let that sink in. The refs had enough gall to rattle the most composed player on the court while also letting others treat the hardwood like it's the Thunderdome. Stunning. At this point, you'd have better odds appealing to a magic 8-ball than hoping for a consistent call. Did you see the slap? Reply hazy. Try again later. Was that a foul? Outlook not so good. Is Aliyah okay? Signs point to no.
Graceful. She literally punched her, as you see it right there. Tina Charles punched Aliyah Boston in the face, man. What are they doing? Why was it we not getting a call on that? Just checking out what some of the people say. Let's wait for facts. But regardless, violence has no place in the game. I really don't want to see this from ladies. And a no call. And that's the crazy part about it. It was a no call. And you wonder why Caitlyn Clark was mad at the refs.
It's almost poetic in the worst way possible. Aliyah Boston, pillar of composure, gets walloped like she's in a boxing ring, and the refs just sip tea. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark gets verbally jump-scared by a ref, and she's suddenly needing a full-blown security detail to stop her from snapping, not because she's wiling out, but because the people in charge of protecting players decided to poke the bear. You could feel the absurdity vibrating through the court. Boston still trying to piece together what just happened to her face. Caitlyn holding back pure rage while a ref pulls the "who me?" routine. It was a symphony of negligence, like someone set the game to chaos mode and left the refs with broken remotes. Let's be clear, this isn't about letting the girls slide. This is about letting violence slide and then gaslighting the players who dare react. Because make no mistake, both Boston and Clark handled the mess better than most would. If the roles were reversed and it was a ref who caught that slap, we'd have seen an on-court memorial and a moment of silence before the next quarter. And if Caitlyn had so much as sneezed in a ref's direction after the incident, you can bet a tech would have flown faster than a Gatorade bottle during a timeout. But when she gets blindsided and chirped at, suddenly we're pretending emotional restraint is part of the stats sheet.
But we gotta talk about this. We have got to talk about this right here, because how the hell the referee saw this play right here. So, Aliyah Boston, and I have to say, Aliyah Boston does use her elbows a lot. Does she commit offensive fouls? Sure. She does. She uses her elbows a bit too much. It's on the referees to call that. But I mean this when I say this. An offensive foul does not warrant a swipe to the face. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's basically saying you have, like, kind of... I don't know. You were, like, sealing and you were kind of grabbing onto me. So I suplex.
Even the commentators were sitting in awkward silence like, did that just happen? Because yes, it did. In glorious 1080p, Aliyah's face got used like a speed bag, and Caitlyn nearly had to be physically removed because the people officiating the game forgot they weren't contestants in a roast battle. If anything, Boston's expression post-slap said it all. Not shock, not even anger, just pure confusion, as if to say, did that really just go uncalled? Meanwhile, Caitlyn's eyes were practically glowing like a Marvel character about to unlock her final form. And somewhere in the middle, the refs were debating which brand of gum to chew next. There's bad officiating, and then there's this level of indifference. This was next level. This was, we're not even pretending to care anymore. This was refs watching gladiator battles unfold and saying, play on, like it's ancient Rome. And it's not just about one call or one missed slap. It's the pattern. The shrug-it-off approach to physicality when it's inconvenient to address it. The refusal to treat blatant contact as anything more than part of the game. Unless, of course, someone talks back. Then suddenly, the officials find their courage and go full disciplinarian. So yeah, one night, 2 stars, 0 accountability.
You know it's a problem when the worldwide leader in woke is willing to call you out. The exclusive home of pretend basketball, the network that prides itself as the proud home of the WNBA. You know you have a serious problem when ESPN is willing to criticize their prize turd. Not only that, ESPN was willing to criticize the lack of officiating against Caitlyn Clark.
Aliyah got popped in the face like she owed someone money, and Caitlyn got restrained like she was storming Area 51, all under the warm glow of referee neglect. Beautiful, isn't it? Just another day in the WNBA, where the rules are made up and the fouls apparently don't matter unless you're mad about them, and somehow the Indiana Fever still managed to claw out a win. Yep, even with refs officiating like they lost a bet and were doing everything possible not to intervene. It's like the Fever were playing 5-on-8, with 3 of the extra players wearing zebra stripes and blindfolds, and still, they pulled it off. But at what cost? Because let's not pretend this was some triumphant victory parade moment. No confetti, no celebration, just a win wrapped in bandages and bruises. Because the biggest headline isn't the scoreboard. It's that Caitlyn Clark may now miss the next game. And not just any game. The Liberty. The team that plays like a well-oiled machine powered by caffeine and high IQ basketball. That's the game you need your star. That's the game you don't want to go into with your floor general nursing wounds like she's a medieval soldier after battle. And if that wasn't bad enough, now there's buzz she might miss the All-Star weekend too. Let that marinate.
Because I am pissed with what I seen displayed from the WNBA today. I mean, my goodness, the blatant disrespect. We got Caitlyn Clark brother erupting online. Caitlyn Clark letting it be known these refs are ridiculous.
The biggest rising star in the league, the very reason casual fans are even tuning in, might not be able to attend the event that's supposed to showcase, stars. Because the referees decided body slams, full Karmat hugs, and 24/7 hand checking were totally fine as long as the ball was somewhere in the vicinity. They let defenders crawl on her like she was a jungle gym. They let her get mauled like she owed somebody rent. It was less defense and more like a high-stakes version of tag, where every tag came with a forearm to the ribs. It's disgraceful. And it's not about being soft. It's about basic, common sense officiating. Calling the game the way it's written, and yet the refs were out there flipping the rule book like it was a menu. Let's see. Flagrant? Nah. How about mild enthusiasm with extra violence? Perfect. And here's the kicker. This isn't some scrappy rookie we're talking about. This is Caitlyn Clark, the walking headline, the ticket seller, the eyeballs magnet, the one whose name trends whether she hits a logo 3 or ties her shoe mid-cane. And the league let her get cooked. What kind of long-term vision is that? Hey, let's market the hell out of this generational star and then let her get ground into hardwood paste 3 times a week. Genius stuff.
People are watching the WNBA than ever before. And they're watching the refs, too. The WNBA has had officiating issues for years. Things got out of control when not 1 but 2 skirmishes broke out in a game between the Indiana Fever and Connecticut Sun. Again, ask a WNBA player or coach about refs over the past few years, and they'll say that inconsistent or subpar officiating is due to a number of things, a high turnover rate in the league or a lack of experience among them. But it's worth noting how WNBA officiating is looked at by the NBA, which owns roughly 60% of the league. It's very common for WNBA officials after a few seasons in the W to move into NBA officiating crews. But you rarely see things go the other way around.
Now the Fever are left with a W and a possible gaping hole in their offense. Sure, they got the win, but at what cost? Because if Caitlyn doesn't suit up for the Liberty game, it's not just Indiana that suffers, it's the whole viewing public. The game loses its spark. And if she's out for All-Star Weekend, forget about it. That's like hosting the Oscars without any actors. Just a bunch of seats and confused camera crews wondering why no one's clapping. This is supposed to be the moment the league builds momentum, but instead, they're fumbling it like a soap-covered football. The optics are brutal. One of your most valuable assets just got battered in a game where the officials were treating rule enforcement like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. And now, there's a real chance she'll be sidelined for the showcase event of the season. Bravo. And look, Indiana deserved that win. They fought, they hustled, they made the plays when it counted. But if Caitlyn Clark limps her way out of the rotation just so they could squeeze out a victory while the refs napped with their eyes open, it's a hollow prize. It's like winning a car race with no tires left. Sure, you crossed the finish line, but now your engine's on fire and your star driver needs medical attention.
It is getting harder and harder for me to actually enjoy the WNBA, and I really thought that we had turned a corner from last season, because if you guys remember, last season was 95% drama, 5% basketball. The narratives, the media, the fandom, everything, like nothing was basketball. It was all, oh, you only like this person because of their skin color. This person doesn't do anything. What kind of foul was that? Did you see what this person was posting on social media? This fan base is racist. It's dangerous to play at this arena. Anything.
How is this okay? How is this the standard? Let the players play is one thing, but let the players commit wrestling moves in the lane is a whole different genre. The Fever played tough. The opponents played dirty. And the refs, they played pretended they didn't see it, pretended it wasn't happening, pretended that maybe Caitlyn was just being dramatic, despite the fact that she's not exactly the type to flop over a gust of wind. This league is right there, on the cusp. Eyes are finally on the product. People are tuning in. Celebrities are sitting courtside. ESPN is actually airing games at reasonable hours.
This play right here, where Aliyah Boston was pretty much attacked by Tina Charles, this shows how dirty of a team the Connecticut Sun is, and it's a reason why they haven't won any games. Let's check out this play that has the whole internet buzzing, and nothing happened. She should have been ejected. She should have been tossed out the game. She should have been fined. Everything should come with this. Let's get into this play.
And this is the moment the officiating goes full circus. This is when we decide, you know what? Let's make our best players regret playing too hard. Let's be real. This league has the potential to explode in the best way. Talent is at an all-time high. The narratives are electric, and fans, they'll leave. Nobody wants to watch stars get injured while refs play statue. And you think the Liberty are gonna go easy? Ugh. They smell blood, they're gonna show up like it's a playoff preview, and if Caitlyn's sitting in street clothes watching from the bench, it's gonna feel like someone stole the final act from a great movie. So yeah, Indiana won, technically, but in the grand scheme, this feels more like a loss, because the league just proved that it can't or won't protect its stars, and the consequences are already knocking.